We've been away for a long time. I said we've been waiting for a long, long, long time. Welcome. Yeah. But we ain't going to wait no more. We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4K for you. Here we go. The boys are back in town. That's right. The OG crew. We got Greg from Fanzine. How you doing?
Doing good. Glad to be here with you and Valiant on this Wednesday physical media evening.
Indeed. Speaking of my original partner in crime with barking dogs in the background.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just like right as my intro's coming in, somebody rings the doorbell and the dogs go crazy. Good to be back here. Yeah.
Glad to have you back, my friend, and we're glad to be back. It's been too long. We knew we had to do something. Our initial plan for last week didn't quite work out, but that's going to we'll get an update on that sooner than later. So we'll get back to that at a later date. But we got a few things to discuss here. We'll get into the news and rumors here and stuff we've been checking out in the meantime. But welcome to the show, everybody. Hit that like button, share out the link, let everybody know that we're live. I see some regulars here already. Speaking of regular, we have regular coffee lover. Or do you want some cream in that? That depends. And then we got Entertainment Wizard. We've got Mike Joseph, who's in the chat. Since he's on his way, maybe he can make it. I hear you, brother. Don't even get me started on what kind of day it's been. My week has been a week from hell. I can tell you that much right now, but we'll probably get into that at a later time in a different show. We got Cheese Factor here. We got Donnie Pearson, Doba Fett, George Bonney. Stan Lee is here. Excelsior. We got David Glenn, Pete Dencat. Thank you for being here, guys. Hit that like button. Corleone Rogue's here. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. So, without further ado, let's break into the news. Here is our news and rumors of upcoming events. Hello and welcome to your 4K rumors and news for the week of May 24th, 2023. First, we got to look at the 4K Best Buy exclusive of Sisu. That's the Steelbook there, coming from Lionsgate on the 11th of July. We got news that Rio Bravo will drop on the 18th of July from Warner Brothers in 4K. That's also up on their Max streaming service right now in 4K. East of Eden will also come from Warner Brothers on the 18th of July in 4K. Battlestar Galactica is coming the 11th of July in 4K from Universal. We will get Avatar and Avatar 2: The Way of the Water in 3D and 4K on the 20th of June. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret will be coming out on the 11th from Lionsgate. We gotta look at the Walmart exclusive slipcover there. Fast X will be hitting on 8/1/23. There's a look at the Target exclusive. Les Miserables will be coming out on the 18th of July. That's the 2012 version in 4K from Universal. So I Married an Axe Murder will hit July 25th from Sony in 4K. Kino Lorber has announced that the 25th of July will also be the date to expect Needful Things on 4K. That comes with the TV cut and an up-resed HD version on a bonus disc, so keep that in mind. There's a look at the art from Kino Lorber. Speaking of Kino Lorber, we've got a slew of titles coming up on the 18th of July. Here's a selection of them. To Live and Die in LA will hit 4K on that day. Gloria is coming to Blu-ray. 52 Pickup will be coming on Blu-ray that day. Number One with a Bullet will also be on Blu-ray, as will Nevada Smith. Although it comes from a 4K master, will be hitting Blu-ray on the 18th of July from Kino, along with a few others. The Perfect Weapon will be coming later this year from Kino Lorber, as will High Noon in 4K. Ghoulies 4 looks to hit on the 31st of July. That is an international title, so keep that in mind. Speaking of international titles, we have a rumor that Porkys will be coming from Arrow in 4K, the 1981 classic. Also in the rumor mill, we got Night of the Demons 3 will be coming later this year on Blu-ray, and also Krull is once again popping up in the rumor mill. Thank you everybody for listening. Hit that like button and subscribe, and take care of yourselves. Well, of course, we're not going anywhere. That's just our little bumper there. But so that is our news and rumors for the week. As
that was good.
That's what we've been doing lately. Yeah, you've been around for a while, Valiant. We've been doing that lately. I try to do those every week, even if we don't have a show. But sometimes there just isn't enough news. But there has been this week. Yeah. So yes, the big rumor, of course, is Porkys. The 1981 classic will be hitting 4K Blu-ray. But there's a catch. Of course, there's always a catch. Because in the U.S., I believe distribution is owned by Fox. Disney will not let that out here in the U.S. anytime soon, probably. Well, we'll see. TVA owns the distribution outside of the U.S., from what I know, or something to that effect. And this will be a U.K. title from Arrow. So, excited for that much, anyway. We'll have to import it, though. That's the downside. But still, usually 4K Blu-rays are region-free. So, Valiant, anything stuck out to you in that... cadre of is that the word I'm looking for?
Porkys
movie.
Porkys.
Yeah, Porkys.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a good one.
Sorry, I still I have Blu-ray versions of that. I have it digitally on my iTunes or iMovies, Apple Movies thing, and I still watch it every now and again. It's still too good.
I actually have it in a box set with Nerds and Bachelor Party. So it's
nice.
Like Fox came out with a box set of movies that they've tried to pretend don't exist anymore. If Fox came out with it, but Disney now is like, Revenge of the Nerds. No, we're not gonna say that exists. And Porky's, that's problematic. And
boobs and bad words and guys. No. We can't do that.
Guys being guys, yeah.
Yeah, guys being guys. Hey, Porky's has got wiener in it too, so.
This is true.
Yeah.
You got to get out that ruler in the morning, and get out your marker and your chart. Make sure you measure. Don't let your mom find it.
That's a classic. Okay, I love that movie.
Now, so of course it's been on Blu-ray, as have the sequels, but this is the first time it's hitting 4K. As we hear, it's coming from a scan of the original negative. I'm not really surprised because, like I said this before, I noticed that there's a trend, and when they do scans of these movies, it always seems like a director or something like that tends to get picked. Now we got Christmas Story last year, that being a Bob Clark film. This also being a Bob Clark film. Just at the same time, we also got Black Christmas this last year. So look, I wouldn't be surprised if we get the rest of his movies, if there is any bigger ones yet to come. So this doesn't totally surprise me, but I am a little surprised simply because you would think that Disney would want to keep this movie down any way, shape, or form they can. But I guess they don't have a say on it outside of the U.S. So.
Well, that's a good thing, as far as I'm concerned, because at least we know 4K is at least we know 4K is region free, and we may have to import it, but we can play it on our system. So,
indeed. But other than that, Avatar was the big one everybody's kind of been waiting for the news on, because Disney was kind of trying to subdue the release date. I don't know if you heard about that, Valiant. This kind of falls into your normal category of reporting, but they were actually going after scoopers who were trying to say the release date of the Blu-ray, I guess, and releasing the art for the movies, as we showed earlier in our thing here. Now, of course, it's known, it's been officially announced, but that's kind of a rare thing for them to kind of, why would they, okay, I know the answer, but let me see if you have the same answer. Why would they not want the date of the Blu-ray out and known in the world for Avatar?
I mean, unless they're planning, they're doing a co-release, I'm sure, with Avatar 2 or thereabout.
That's what I think. Yeah, it's a whole thing, but the two of them, let's say. Yeah, it's the same day.
Yeah, if you're trying to hide a release date, you're trying to squeeze as much as you can out of the theater.
Exactly.
But at this point, it seems like, I don't know how much, Avatar's not really running up the numbers in the theaters at this point anymore. But again, it's one of those things to where this is quirky because it's, obviously this is a James Cameron issue more so than I think a Disney issue. At least he's got his hand heavily in it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So.
And yes, we are getting a 3D Blu-ray of at least the second one. And now the first one's already had one from before. I'm sure it's still probably fairly readily available. But I don't know if they're re-releasing the 3D version of the first movie. But yes, we are supposed to be getting a 3D version of Way of the Water on Blu-ray. So there you go. But with that, we did not get any announcement for The Abyss.
No.
I would assume that would went right along with it, but we didn't get that. That's strange.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to hold that off for a later announcement to make a big thing on it, which I don't blame them from a marketing standpoint. That's what I would try to do. That's a big enough movie. You want to give it more space.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with True Lies. We still haven't heard a date on that yet.
Same reason, I'm sure.
Well, this is true, Tim. The TVs are pretty much non-existent anymore, but you have VR systems which use 3D technology, and also most projectors still have it, believe it or not. It's still pretty common in projectors. So I don't think it's totally dead yet, but yeah, for the most part, we haven't gotten very many 3D releases over the past few years. And I don't know if 3D Blu-ray can do 48 frames per second. Not 100% sure on that.
I mean, in theory, can it? Sure. Because it's a direct multiple of 24. It can sling.
I was going to say, I think the Gemini Man one 4K was done in 60 frames, so I think theoretically, yes, they could.
The problem is the data rate. So you've got a limited amount of space on a Blu-ray disc, so whatever format that you're going to use, it's got to be able to fit in that space. So if it's 50 gigs, like on a double-layer Blu-ray disc, if you have a 2-hour movie, I mean, when you go from 24p to 48p, you're effectively, if you're going to keep the same picture quality, you're doubling the amount of data. So either you've got to sacrifice the quality or something. That's why people have steered away from it, because it's obnoxious, and most people don't care. And by most, I'm like 99% of people probably don't care.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not one of those things. Go ahead, Greg.
No, that's good. I agree with you guys about all that. Yeah. I did see
it's
though
the soap opera effect to me.
Yeah. It's basically all that. It's no good.
Yeah, and this is where I'm not so sure that Blu-ray can handle more than 24 frames per second. I guess theoretically it could, but I don't know if the hardware is set up to run it. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like my TV can run up to 120 FPS or whatever I think it is, or 60 hertz.
Yeah, that's why they switch power supplies in TV sets from 60.
But most things outside of games don't run more than 30 frames per second. So
yeah.
And then, like I said, in most cases, like I wouldn't want the Hobbit trilogy in that high frame rate or any of those other things because they look like shit.
Yeah. Well, again, it's been a while since we had that conversation, but just to remind folks, the only reason like TVs boast the 120 hertz or the 120 cycles per second power supplies they use in there, it's not so you can get 120 frames per second per se. That's not what it's about. They did that so that you could have an honest reproduction of both 30 FPS, which is most of what you watch on TV, and 24 FPS without it going a 2 to 3 down convert. You've got to have a power supply that can cycle at a factor that is equally divisible both by 24 and 30.
Yes.
And that's 120. That's why they went to 120. 60 hertz, you can't divide 24 evenly into 60, but you can divide 24 evenly into 120 just as you can 30.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember all the math, but that's exactly what Valiant just said. So on that front, like I wouldn't mind like concerts, or if you actually wanted some kind of sporting event preserved in 4K, high frame rate, something like that, a nature film, no problem, I can see. But otherwise, I don't understand why you'd want high frame rate for movies. To me, it's just bad.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't look right.
I just don't understand why James Cameron and Peter Jackson have such a hard-on for that. I just don't get it.
I get part of it because it's like Valiant was saying, it's a quality thing on one part of it, right?
Yeah.
You're technically getting a higher quality, but at the expense of it looking cheaper. It's weird. It's kind of counterproductive. Because not only are you it has that video effect. And if like I said, if you're watching a sporting event, a concert, a real live event, it's not such, the video effect isn't such a big deal. But we have the 24 frames for film has always worked, not just because mathematically for certain reasons, like Valiant just said, but also for the flicker effect on film for it to work, because you can actually show things at a little less frame rate as well. So there's no real set frame rate outside. They chose 24 for various reasons. And it also seemed to have the best effect looking like reality, because guess what? A video captures things that our eyes really don't quite normally see naturally. And that's kind of why we get that video effect on a television, and it kind of looks like that to us as humans, because you sit there and you basically take your hand and you wave it in front of your face like this, just there you see that motion blur, right?
I can't see you.
We see
it's
the
like
motion
the football
blur
players
naturally, right? So like to us naturally, a film like that just for some reason when the action moves and kicks in, it feels more real in that sense, to where I don't know why seeing, more frames makes it feel more unrealistic to me, or, I mean, unless it's a live event, I don't know how else to explain it, but I think that's the reason why people feel that way.
I see that. Definitely. Glad that it's not being used a whole lot. So
it's that magic of 24 frames. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just something about it. It's the right speed.
It works just right.
You are lying, sir. Don't lie to us. Paul 1978 was generous and sent us $5. Thank you so much. Kids today will never know why they call her Lassie. Aw.
Kim Control. She was hot back then.
That is true. Well, they will now.
Yeah. Yep. That's such a good movie, man.
I love that movie. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched Porky's. But speaking of watching things, not to move along too fast here in the show, but we are very late today, so we will have kind of a truncated program. What have you guys been watching lately in 4K? I know we've been away for a while. Valiant, I know you finally got Superman on 4K. I think that was one of the last things we talked about when you were on here.
Yeah.
The last time we did cover some of the issues, and a few more have come to light since then. But overall, what is your impression of maybe that and some other things you've had a chance to check out in the meantime?
I mean, overall, I liked it. I really couldn't complain too much. Of course, I hadn't watched the movies in a little while, and seeing them in 4K for the first time, I watched Superman 3. Thought that looked great. I really did enjoy it. I've got a few things on order. I was hoping they would have been here earlier today, but just some catalog titles. Like I finally went back and picked up the 4K of 2001, Apocalypse Now, Inception, Apollo 13, and actually picked up. Nobody might know this one, Kingsglaive, which was the Final Fantasy 15 animated film. You had Sean Bean in there and Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, and did a great job. I really liked the movie. I had the Blu-ray for a while. I was like, oh wait, there's a 4K. I'll go grab that too. So
nice. Good pickups there.
Yeah. What about you, Greg? Anything new you want to bring up?
Yes. Besides the Superman movies, which we did do a really good talk on that last week on the Physical Media Show. Check that out. But yeah, I actually got Brotherhood of the Wolf on 4K from Scream Factory, Shot Factory. Just came out yesterday. I'd never seen the movie before. I always heard it was such a good movie. Robert Meyer Burnett has also told me it was a good movie. So I picked it up, and I can definitely tell you it is a good movie. I really enjoyed the movie. I will definitely talk more about it tonight on my show. And that's like the latest 4Ks I've watched is those. But I've watched a bunch of other movies, just like those are my latest 4Ks. Yeah.
Well, I'll be talking about these tonight on your show, so I don't want to get too deep into them. But I did happen to see the Italian Job, the original and the remake in 4K. And nice. Both look pretty good. Sound good as well. And actually, this is one of those rare cases. So here's kind of a preview for tonight. It's one of those rare cases where I think that the remake is possibly better than the original.
Nice. I always like the.
The original one is very British.
Yeah. I've seen them both. I did like the remake. I remember seeing that in the theater.
Not just that, the remake actually has a better villain in Edward Norton, because in the original one, the villain is kind of like the Italian mafia. So it's kind of, I liked it. It just didn't have the same pizzazz, and it's trying a little too hard with some of its humor, and it gets left on a literal cliffhanger because they never made the sequel they planned on. They're literally hanging off the cliff. No. Maybe you can find that as like a bit of ironic humor, I guess, in the way the movie is. I do like it, don't get me wrong, but it is one of those rare occasions where I'm going to give the edge to the remake. I will, for some reason. Nice. Presentation wise, I'll actually give it to the original. Like, Kino did an amazing job. I don't think they did the scan, but it looks great. I think that speaks to the film stock of the time of the late 60s, and compared to the newer film, which it looks good, but I mean, it has that typical 2000s look to it. Early 2000s. So it's still shot on film, but there was some unevenness actually in the remake. Believe it or not, there's a lot of bits where you can tell that aren't coming from the negative. Like for the first 5 or so minutes of the movie, I mean, even after the credits are ended, until you get to like the next scene after the first opening bit, is not from the negative. Then you see a huge improvement after that. Like, because at first I was getting pissy. I'm like, wait a minute, if this movie looks like this, why did they even bother putting it on 4K? And then finally, when it switched over, I'm like, oh God, thank God. Because then from there on, most of the movies, but there's some bits here and there you can tell weren't coming from the negative. So, but those were very degraded in comparison, which I thought was kind of sad. But other than that, yeah, I can recommend it. It's a steelbook, I think, only right now, but I'm sure it'll get a regular release later. Or maybe it is both.
I think there is a regular release of the remake. A regular. I think I saw it.
Yeah, and yes, they were planning on a sequel to the original Darth Maul. That's why it literally ends on a cliffhanger.
And they never made it.
And the movie was successful enough to where they probably could have, but I can't remember what got in the way of them not making it. It just never happened. I'd have to go look it up again, but no, I almost did though, Tim Hayes, because of how bad it looked, especially because it reminded me of the Another 48 Hours snafu that they still haven't addressed and nobody else has addressed but us. But,
was this Paramount or Sony?
It would Paramount. Both of them are Paramount, but Kino released the original, and Paramount just released the remake.
So it was like the Wayne's World, where it's like the first couple minutes is really bad, and then it kind of clicks in.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, there were some. I would honestly say that, like that scene where the one that sticks out most like a sore thumb is the extensive hairnets and name tag collection scene where you can see the heavy DNR for some reason on Wayne's World. There's none of that here.
Okay.
So there's like, I don't remember seeing anything really scrubbed too bad. So, we got a new subscriber from your channel. Look at that.
Thank you, Mahogany. Awesome. Hope you like. I'm just me, man. I blabber a lot. So
yeah, we do. That's kind of what we do here. We're old men just talking about movies.
Yep. Yeah, speaking of old men, I'm 40 now, so.
Oh, yes. You had a birthday in the Interium, so happy birthday.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
High Noon was another interesting rumor we got this week. Well, not really a rumor. It was confirmed by Kino, but we don't have a date yet.
Oh, I did see something. I don't know if you know this, but Severin is going to be putting out the uncensored 4K cut of the last horror film. It stars Joe, what's his name from Maniacs? Joe Spinelli, is that what it is? Is that his name?
Yes, the guy who was in Rocky and
it's the movie he did after Maniac. Yeah, John Spinelli. It's the movie he did after Maniac. It's sort of in that vein, and they just discovered the original negative with the uncensored, unedited gore and stuff like that. So Severin will be putting that out soon in a new 4K uncut thing.
Nice.
Stars Carolyn Monroe. It's a slasher film. It's like Joe Spinelli gets infatuated with this actress, and he wants her to be in his horror movie, and so he like basically starts stalking her. And it's Carolyn Monroe, and it'd be a pretty good one. So,
all right, well, that's cute.
Yeah. So if you like the Maniac, it's sort of in that vein, and plus it's like an 80s, 70s slasher movie. So,
yeah.
But there you have that. I just saw that.
Sounds good to me.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
You're fine. Other than that, was there anything else on the docket as far as 4K news or anything else anybody saw or wanted to bring up, discuss? Go ahead and ask some questions in the chat real quick if you want to. Otherwise, we're going to wrap things up here real soon anyway. So,
like I said, I just kind of glanced today because I've been out of it for the last week or two with end of school. But I know we've got the Jaws 2 45th anniversary 4K Blu-ray that I saw that's coming out.
We got to look at the Steelbook. Yeah, well, War of the Worlds has already been released. This one is being re-released. It just doesn't have the Worlds Collide coming with it. Basically, it's a different cover.
Okay, that's what I was wondering because I felt like I've seen a previous.
Yeah, I have the other version. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it's just a re-release of that, from what I've heard. They're not fixing anything or doing anything to it, from what I've heard. But if I do hear anything, I will let you guys know, because I'm sure Bill Hunt would be the first to know, because he was the one who was complaining in the first place about how they screwed up that one. So
also, I'm a little jazzed about Needful Things.
I am too.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite Stephen King books, although the movie adaptation was dialed back from what the book was, obviously. But I still liked it. So
a lot of the stuff that's in the book, though, wound up in the TV version, which we are getting. Although I am a little upset because I thought we were originally getting an HD scan of the TV movie. It's actually an HD up convert. So I'll be curious to see. So hopefully they also have the deleted scenes separated, so I don't have to sit through the whole damn.
Oh, but this isn't a TV movie, right? This is the Max von Sydow.
But what they did for the TV version is they added like an hour of footage into the movie.
Oh, I see. Okay,
so they could show it for like 4.5, 5 hours or whatever on television and get more money from the TV version. And so like there's an hour of added footage to it. Like it's a pretty famous TV version, but like, a lot of this stuff that got kind of trimmed because believe it or not, it's one of the closer of Stephen King's from movie to book adaptation, especially the TV version from my memory too, because like I said, all the little bits that got chopped out are back in there. When I say TV version, I just mean that when they showed it on TV, they just added scenes back into it. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, Max von Sydow knocks it out of the fucking park in that movie.
Yeah.
It is probably one of my favorite Stephen King books. It is such a great book. So simple and direct. And the idea that you can, and just the havoc that the devil puts on this town is just so, it's almost like a brilliant, like how could nobody have ever thought of this story kind of thing before? It almost feels like one of those kind of old mythological gothic horror stories that's been passed down from generation to generation. That's back when King was at his peak, right? Like he was just fine-tuned, and he had some great shit in that era. I mean, from like Misery to around that era was like his peak.
Oh, I gotta tell you, I love The Dark Half. I love The Dark Half. I love that book. I love that book, and I love that movie. I wish they would put that on 4K. I believe the Blu-ray is out of print right now, sadly. But that's a great movie and a great book.
That was one of my other favorite ones. The first Stephen King book I read, and I read this, believe it or not, in 6th grade, was It. And it was because of the TV movie. 6th or 7th grade because of the TV movie. And then The Dark Half was, let's see, then was The Shining, and The Dark Half.
Pet Sematary was
things
there.
Later on. Yeah, Pet Cemetery was in there. Well, I'm thinking of like
the order
one of
that
I actually read the books. Like, I'm thinking of the order that I read the books. So,
King was one of those, even though I was a horror fan as a kid and teenager growing up, there was some of his shit that I just couldn't handle until I was a little older.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'd watch it or I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to revisit that again for a while. Or like, I just knew it was just a little too hardcore for me. Cause like even It, like when I was introduced to like you were to the TV movie, of course, I was like dumb shit. I went and got the book out of the library, and I can't believe they let a kid at my age get that book out at that time.
Well, that was in your. No, I went and bought it in the bookstore. I didn't take it out. I never would have had a library that would have.
I started reading that thing, and I'm just like, holy hell! Because the first 2 chapters or so are nothing like the movie. You know,
especially that opening.
No way, it's vicious as hell, and you're just like, "What the fuck is this?" Then you can tell why they fine tuned it quite well. Like, I give everybody involved with that TV movie, especially all the credit in the world, because they really hone that down into one of those stories like Needful Things and some of his other ones are, like I just said, they're stories that it felt like he started shooting stories out of them that had been around forever. And it's just like, of course, this is a story that's been there forever. Like that, just like kind of like New Nightmare, how how Wes Craven says, Freddy just chooses a form every few generations. Like, it's like Stephen King was pulling something out of some ether somewhere of just like these stories of like he was being touched by a dark muse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, and Misery, of course, that's a story. Of course, it just feels like something that would be natural. Yeah. And of course, he just come up with these stories that were just like, holy crap, that's amazing. Shawshank, Stand By Me, and that's not even his horror. There, we're talking the standard shit. And some of his other horror shit was just crazy, insane, good. And then he just went out the shitter for some reason. I don't know why.
He lost it. He lost it.
Misery as a read is, oh my god, is just horrendous. Same thing with Pet Cemetery. It's even more traumatic than the movie.
Yeah. It's like when she breaks, like in the chat there, Mahogany says she breaks his ankles. Read the book. That's not what she does.
Foot off.
Yeah, she chops his feet off.
She hobbles his ass, like, really.
His foot right off, man. It's worse in the book.
That's what they didn't want to do that in the movie and go that far. So they her sawing his so yikes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a Stephen King rant there, but he has turned into like our gay lesbian aunt now. We can't do nothing but bitch about politics.
It's so bad.
But go back to writing good books, man.
Take some Coke and give us some stories, man.
Hell, I would take 1,000,000 Maximum Overdrives right now.
Me too.
As stupid and crazy as those movies are, and you sit there and ask 1,000,000 questions at the end, but still.
Yeah.
It's like, why do the humans even think of like giving them gas? It makes no sense.
We just need more coked out Stephen King. That's all there is to it.
We do indeed. But yeah, so unless there was anything else, I didn't really see any questions pop up in the audience, but you guys are being active, of course. This is one that's not related to movies, but I guess it's a question.
Oh, yeah.
To Blu-rays, but I guess it's a question. Have you heard about the Alien vs. Predator anime series? No, I haven't. Have you?
Apparently, there is a complete Alien vs. Predator anime series that was made before the acquisition of Fox by Disney. Disney shelved it, and it's never been seen. So that's what it's all about there.
Never been finished, though?
No, it's finised. It's completely finished. It's ready to go.
Weird.
Disney shelved it. Period.
Of course
they got to devalue it and take a write-off. So they just took it off the books.
And I see somebody's talking about the collector's edition of Jaws. I thought about putting the video, but I'm like, I just had Jaws 2 in the last video. But here's what the collector's edition, the individual collector's edition. I did order this. Nice. I didn't want to, but I had to. So yeah, don't kill me, Mikey. It doesn't come out until July 4th. So there's that for those folks. Like the goodies that come with it, I'm kind of happy about, but the fucking art, both the box and the steelbook, I'm not happy with. Why can't you just put the original poster art on there?
That's what I don't get.
If you're not going to do that one, do the alternate Jaws 2 poster art, which is on the soundtrack. Let me show you guys what that is. Because, you guys know the original poster art, right? Yeah. Where the chick on the skis, and this is just the one they got here is the reversal. Let's see if I can find this other one here, because it's very reminiscent of the first film. I like it. Let's see if I can find a better version than that. I hate it when I try to find a picture and I can't find shit.
I know.
Here's a mixture of the two. Here's what the steelbook should have looked like, a wraparound steelbook like this. Here you go. Something like this. See, because the part on the left is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what they have on the other poster, but it's the shark coming up from underneath like he is in the original movie.
Yeah. I've seen somebody... Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've seen somebody recreate the actual poster from Shark with the real shark.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
It looks creepy.
It does. Let me see. I'm trying to find the one that actually has the shark coming in from underneath, because I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, but it's the same shark from the first movie coming from underneath, but it's just different on the... It's those two. Here it is. Okay. As I said, it's from the soundtrack. Here we go. Desktop. There we go. Boom. There you are. So that's what I'm talking about. Where it actually has the shark from the first movie, but then instead of the girl, it's those two in the boat. Chrissy and what's his face. Yeah.
I see it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that would have been better than the other artwork on that steelbook set there.
I've always liked this one or the original poster art. I'm not a fan of that new shit they got. And it doesn't even look like it's an actual reverse because it's like too detailed.
Mm.
If you guys get what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Because now, yeah. Well, you can even see the original on the poster that's below it. If you see there. One down there. See, that doesn't even look like it matches. No. And if you're going to do this, though, why isn't this just the back of the box art and this is the front? That would have been... You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that would have made more sense. Like, have this is the front and then this is the back. So you're actually seeing the view of the shark then, you know?
Yeah.
It just makes more sense to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
That would make a better steelbook to have that front than the back.
I would have
more for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've run out of gas here for the show. We ran late today or started late today, so I apologize, guys.
That's all good.
Yeah, it's fine.
We made you. Who made who?
I now want to watch that Maximum Overdrive again.
Well, Walmart's supposed to be getting that exclusive steelbook of it. It's the same one we've had before. But...
Yeah, the same Vestron, but now they got steelbook.
Yeah.
Which I may get because I didn't get the slipcover for my Vestron, so I don't have the slipcover for that, and it kind of pisses me off because all my other Vestrons have the slipcover. So just get the steelbook.
I didn't realize I was muted.
I was like, it got real quiet. I was like, what happened?
I was like, nobody was talking, so I was just like, yeah, I didn't notice it at first, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm still muted or whatever. But anyway, so Valiant, anything you got going on coming up here?
I put out a video about an hour ago on the Little Mermaid box office opening weekend projections are dog crap.
Ooh.
So bad. Like the domestic box office projections aren't horrific, but they're bad at 120 million over the 4-day Memorial Day weekend. What's really stunning is the international projections from Deadline that came out today are just atrocious. So you might want to go check that video out if you haven't seen it yet when we leave here. Like I said, just dropped it like an hour and 20 minutes ago.
Cool.
Awesome. What do you got coming up, Greg?
Tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on my channel, you and me, Runner, will be doing the physical media show. And I dropped the video myself earlier today. It was just I started off trying to make it be a funny video, and then I kind of got a little ranty. But I was going through Amazon and, to buy stuff. And on their deals, it has it says deal on Marvel, 20% off deal on Marvel, and it's Star Wars. And you click on it, and it takes you to Star Wars. So I was like, "Well, I had to make a video about that." So I dropped that today. So yeah.
Okay.
Scare the hell out of you.
You already do, Steven.
Is he looking at me or is he looking at you?
that fucking trailer, I tell you.
That's so good.
I wanted somebody to do Stephen King right, so I directed it myself. I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. This fucking cross eyes and shit.
It's just batshit crazy. So much fun.
So it looks like Alex Zorba had a similar issue I have had and others to Amazon with Best Buy. Got the longest yard direct from Kino after canceling the never going to show pre-order from Best Buy. Yeah, what is going on with this lately? That is strange.
That is weird because.
But I've had the same problem. Yeah.
Yeah, they keep saying, To Live and Die in LA is now available to pre-order on Amazon. Night of the Hunter, which I want to get from Kino, is now available to pre-order. I ain't going to pre-order these from Amazon or Kino because you go in there and all these Kino titles, they'll say you get in about a month. after release, and so in some cases they're still not available to get after they've been released. So I don't know what the deal is, and now it looks like Best Buy is in on it too.
Seems to be the case.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
All right. Well, with that, kids, I think we wrap it up here, and we see you on physical media in about an hour, right?
Yeah.
All righty then. So take care of yourselves and each other, and until next time, see you.
Peace.